Hi, everybody, and welcome to another session of Let's Talk Conversations with Real People. And today I have an amazing person with me on set, and I'll allow herself to introduce herself to you all. And you can take it away, Crystal.
So I am Cryssy. I run a creative agency called Koloraddikt. We provide logos, brand strategy, marketing, all that fun stuff. And I'm here to share my story with you guys today.
Well, amazing. I like that that was a very short and clear description of what you do and who you are. And I love that. And just to kind of step back a bit, did you know you were going to be in this career or you're going to do this just like 5, 10 years ago? Or when you're just thinking of, oh, who am I going to be? Or what am I going to be in the future? Were you thinking about this career?
I was not ever, actually. I kind of stumbled into it. I was always good with creative things. I knew I wanted to do something in the creative realm. I had a little pivot into technology and was trying to figure out how all of this made sense. To be honest, when I was in high school and selecting my major for college, I had no idea that graphic design or web design even existed. And to be fair, in the industry at the time, it was still very not new, but it was ever developing. It's not what it wasn't what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had no idea that it even existed. I originally started off doing these little paintings that's above my head right here, this little Batman. Did little silly stuff like that. Always had clients. I was always painting something. Sometimes people would even ask for custom work. And then I didn't want to paint anymore. And I was like, I want to do graphic design. And I actually taught myself. It's been a long journey, and it's interesting now I teach others who have also even been to school. I'm still teaching and reminding those things that kind of come naturally to me and things that I've learned as well, thanks to YouTube University. But it's been a journey. I did not know what I wanted to do at all. But I wasn't one of those people who get caught up in that either. You know, a lot of people get so focused on purpose and passion. And I was just kind of open.
That's key. I'd like to touch on two things that you mentioned. One was that you taught yourself who you are today and what you're doing today. Mm-hmm. And I think this is so inspiring because many of us, we tend to kind of get into this box of, I've got to follow a path, and the path will be determined by what I studied or by a preset kind of, I don't know, rules or something. But you don't necessarily, and many people don't end up in what they've studied. But you talking about you taught yourself is really inspiring. And my question is, how do you get inspired to teach yourself and to go through this?
I think you have to have some level of interest to begin with. Mm-hmm. So like I said, I was always really creative. And so naturally, I was intimidated by the digital space. But you just start small. So I literally taught myself every time I would get a new client with something. I used to run another business called Effortless Event Planning or Event Design. And it was an event planning company. Again, successful, never had an issue with clients, was able to do the networking necessary to always keep that flowing. But every time I would get some graphic work, rather than routing that through someone else, I would teach myself small things. So for example, if I was working on an invitation and they said, I want glitter, I would go on YouTube and type in how to do glitter text on Adobe Illustrator. Any designer or anyone who's even opened Illustrator, Photoshop, that whole suite, for the first time, it is very overwhelming. And I just found recently, the very first thing I created in Illustrator, I didn't even know how to do a square or a rectangle. I had no idea. So slowly but surely you learn these pieces of what you need to do, and you try not to be intimidated. One thing that I realized really recently within the last year with me is that I'm not intimidated by things I don't know. I kind of embrace the uncertainty, whereas a lot of people, they will shut down.
Yes.
You know, physically, emotionally, everything's shut down and they get overwhelmed and they push back, where I kind of I have that same reaction. I'm not Superwoman. I still have the same reaction, but I keep going. I push through it. I think that's the biggest thing about me and what allowed me to teach myself people going to school, spending bands on this. And though I saved a lot of money on YouTube University.
I love what you said about don't be intimidated by your challenges. about a problem, you face them square on, one bite at a time. One other thing I would like to touch on what you said previously was, you said that some people get focused on passion and then they're not flexible. How do you I personally feel like, I think, well, maybe the era or the society we are in now, we are taught to fall into certain categories. You go to school, at some point you have to choose either business, either science, or either arts. Then you literally you're just classified into those. Then you continue. You know, it's hard for some people to even imagine that they could actually skip. You know, you could have done art and then find a way to skip to science and then skip to business. It's hard for people to imagine that. But how can you bring flexibility when you want to discover your passion and make it into a business?
So it's flexibility, but it's also your willingness to adapt to change. So a lot of people who, and this happens all the time, right? So I'm a consultant, I do business strategy. And a lot of times, class, we got 2 conversations about, what is my passion? What should I do? Should I do drop shipping? Should I do this? Should I do that? If you're so stuck on, you know, I'm going to do this thing, also your why plays a big factor into this as well. Like, if you're just trying to start a business from some side hustle type stuff, your approach should be completely different than if you're trying to build something that's sustainable and that will support you, you know, and others, you know, for the future. But anyways, your adaptiveness to change, like your willingness to say, this is what I'm okay with for now. And I think so many people, they want the set it and be done, but that's not what life is, and nothing else. So you just set it and forget it. So I think when it comes to you as an individual, figuring out what you want to do should be less important, and you should just fall in love with the playground of life and of business and of personal, you know, stuff as well. If I didn't push myself to do things that I was uncomfortable with, I wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't have the experience that I've had. People are too afraid of discomfort when they really need to just put themselves out there. And I get it. I'm not Superwoman. I've experienced those feelings, but I think the difference between me and someone else is that I keep going. Whereas a lot of people experience that and they say, oh, I just want to go back to the old ways. I want security. I want this. I want that. And it's not worth it for me. I tell people this all the time. There's not a contract in this world that can get me to work for them. And I've said that on multiple podcasts by this point. I have to put my foot in my mouth. It is not possible, because if someone comes to me like, hey, here's $1 million contract, I now have to say no, because I'm all about commitments. Mm-hmm. But once you find what you love, and then this is not even it for me. I'm very confident in that. I'm very sure that I will not be doing this for the next 30 years, 40 years, you know, maybe even 10 years. Like, I love what I do, don't get me wrong, but I also want to experience other things, and there's nothing wrong with that. We are naturally multi-passionate. How dare you think that you're just gonna do this one thing for the rest of your life? Like, it's kind of crazy.
It's
and
crazy.
I think it's crazy that they teach us that, you know, oh, I want to be a teacher at 6 years old, and because you said it at 6, you're now a teacher. Like, what?
Your whole life?
Allow yourself to grow. Exactly. To adapt, to find new things, to experience. I think experience is a huge, 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 huge thing. Experience lots of things and as often as possible. Be a kid in life. What is that over there? Let's go over there and see. I try stuff all the time.
I just love what you're saying. Everything you're saying is just feeding my soul right now, because I am all about passion, how to discover your passion, follow your passion. And I'm also very aware, and I tell people all the time that your passion can change. Mm-hmm. And be flexible when it changes. Be open to the change. Because the moment you say, oh, what's your purpose? Do you think purpose is just this one thing I've got to do my whole life? No. Purpose can come in different colors, in different format, and it can change with different seasons of your life. Mm-hmm. And it's so important for you to be sensitive to those seasons, personally, but as well as in your business. You know, some people think they're going to be, you know, maybe someone started by selling paper and pen, and they think they'll keep selling paper and pen for the next 10 years. No, look at IKEA. If IKEA kept selling pens, IKEA wouldn't be here today.
Exactly.
So I love what you said, allowing your purpose and your passion to evolve. Now, you know what? I've come to understand there are two groups of people. There are those people who are self-motivated in the sense of they can find the inner strength within them to push forward. And there are those people who freezes or become blank in the face of challenges and they need other people to encourage them or to support them for them to feel empowered. Now, what do you say to those two groups of people? Because from what you said now, you seem to be like the first group of people who are self-motivated, and without any, without kind of being proud and be in all humility, I personally am also self-motivated. But what do you say to other people who need someone to believe in them before they can believe in themselves?
So here's the thing. I definitely agree that there are two types of people, but there are multiple types of people. But when it comes to self-motivation, I think it's something that you can actually build within yourself and work towards, because nobody will ever champion you and support you like you, period. So it's not so much, coaching and consulting is great, right? But what I tell my clients is that I will never become a crutch to you. I am not like, if I feel like my clients no longer need me and we've kind of sailed the ship and they're good to go, they get fired. I'm so serious. I do it all the time. And so otherwise, what tends to happen if you believe you're not self-motivated and you need someone to push you along, what tends to happen is that when that person changes, or you're no longer vibing with that person, or things happen in your life, or maybe you can't see that person, right? Because things happen. Then it just knocks you off your entire path. I like to kind of relate it to myself even, and in my weight loss journey, right? So every time in the past, I'd be like, come on, friend. Come on, sis. Let's do this together. Do it together. And I'd be good going in it. They're good in the beginning, going in it. And then eventually they fall off, or they need a break. They take a day. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, I'll take a day. I deserve a day too. Yeah. And next thing you know, I never go back.
It's true.
My own commitment and effort was tied to this other person and how they show up for themselves. And it cannot be that way. You have to find that within you. Understand your why. Why are you doing this? Whatever it is. It could be any challenge that you're facing. You have to get clear on what that is. And that should motivate the hell out of you. Let's take weight loss in this scenario, right? Because that's the easy one. We all love to use this as an example. If I am saying we're doing this together because, we both want to lose. When she decides to stop losing weight, I decide to stop losing weight. But if I say I want to look good when I go to this trip and I have my own reasons, then that should pump you. That should fuel you for your effort, not anything else. But don't get me wrong, we're all humans, and humans need that support and that accountability and that community. But it should not be what anchors you. It should not be what determines your motivation. And then lastly, I'm gonna end on this. Because I say this anytime someone brings up motivation is I don't want to say it's a myth, because it's definitely there, but it is like this, right? Like, it's just moving up and down for those who are just listening. And so never rely on your motivation. Do things when you don't feel like doing it. That is the truth of why I'm successful. Yes, I am very self-motivated, self-determined. I get up, I get what I need to. I've always been this way. However, the difference is when I don't want to do it, I still do it. Because I tell myself I don't have a choice. Or I might have a conversation with myself and set some boundaries and say, if you don't do it today, then you better do it tomorrow, and you better believe I'm doing it tomorrow. So it's having healthy boundaries with self. That's how you boost your self-motivation. Having that good, healthy, positive self-talk, encouraging yourself, and understanding your why will all help you become more motivated individually.
Wow. There's a lot to unpack here. I love this. I really love this. Understanding your why. And I always talk about understanding your why and why that's so important. And I love the fact that you said that something external cannot be your anchor. Your anchor has to be from within yourself. And someone listening here, you guys might be thinking, oh my God, this guy's talking about personal development. You're not mentioning business, but your business is a part of you. And who you are reflects in your business. And if you're in a situation right now, you feel like, oh my God, I've done all these things, all the steps, A, B, C, D, and I've not seen results in my business, then I think it's high time you look within yourself. How have you grown, or how are you planning to grow? If you're someone, I know that we business people, we like to set targets, are different. I do, my targets set every quarter. Most people do a yearly, right? And we're like, okay, this year I like to earn, I don't know, $10,000, this year or stuff like that. And then have you ever asked yourself, who do I need to become to be worth $10,000? What are the skills do I have to, what skills do I have to acquire? Or who do I have to be? Do I have to improve my communication skills? Do I have to believe more in myself? Because whether you believe it or not, business is a spiritual game. And I always say that. And I love that, Tony Robbins says that 80% of business is psychology and 20% is actually just mechanics. So the steps, whether it's a landing page, funnels, and offer. But then who you are inside is going to determine the kind of client you attract to you and the kind of things you attract to you. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, you guys are not talking about funnels or landing page and everything. We are talking about the fundamentals, the 80% that you need in order to be successful in your business. And as a matter of fact, in anything you want to do in life, maybe you're a student right here and you're at school and looking into, oh, I'm not getting the grades that I need to get. Or I'm not getting fulfilled from what I need to study. Even understanding your why will give you direction, whether you have to change majors, continue your current studies, or just do something else. I don't believe that everybody has to go through traditional school, because I love what you said earlier on about YouTube University. YouTube University is there, and most of the things are free, and you can learn anything. When you have the interest, you can learn everything. So sit tight with us as we think of this journey of really discovering, I would say, who you are inside, because your passion, your interest is you. And allowing yourself to grow as we grow. When we came into this world, we were babies. Then we turned 1, 5, then we grew up. And that's allow your passion to grow that way and to change as well. The way I look now is different from the way I looked, 5 years, 10 years ago. Definitely different from the way I looked when I was 5 years old. So understanding that life is a journey of growth in anything that you do. I love that, Crystal, you always mention that even when you don't feel like doing something, you did it anyway. Because I think that is when I think you grow faster when you do things that are difficult for you. When you do things that are not comfortable, when you're doing things outside of your comfort zone. And I think that's why sometimes life throws some challenges at us when we feel too comfortable. In order to remind us that, hey, you have to keep growing. You have to keep evolving. Don't just settle and because sometimes we can be so comfortable. We've achieved a goal. Okay, we're looking for those 10 new clients to have those 10 new clients. But remember, nothing is starting, because what if you just depend on those 10 new ones? What happens when they all go? What do you do? Right? So I love that. I know we're talking about a lot of things here, but I would like you guys to really think about how you approach your businesses from inwards, coming from inside out and not just outside. Or what is the next tactic? What is the latest things? All those things are great to understand, but when you come from a point of view of what is my why am I doing what I'm doing? What are the values that I really want to inculcate in this? Do I want to leave a legacy? What is my vision in this? And of course, you can always go and learn the tools that you need to be successful in that. Someone like Crystal, you can, listen to her, follow her stuff. She's a great leader doing great stuff. And I definitely recommend you guys to listen to her, and hopefully you just get one nugget on what you should do next in your business. Krista, do you have any final words?
I wanted to quickly comment on embracing that discomfort, and what that truly means is honoring self-commitments, which was one of the biggest game changers for me personally and in my business. When you do something because you said that you would, there's so much power in that. You continue to build trust within yourself. A lot of us are guilty of lying to ourselves, of, giving ourselves false hope, you know, saying what we want to hear, but not actually acting on it. And I think once that you're able to do what you say you're going to do because it's important to you and you are important, you start to look, feel, everything starts to change. You start to stop tolerating lies and deceitfulness from others because everything just kind of changes. You change the way that you approach any type of challenge changes because you said you're going to do it. So if that challenge is in your face, you still got to push through it. So just do what you say you're going to do. Always finish, even if it's, you know, something that you feel like is no longer important. If you can do some type of postmortem or reflection and say, this no longer serves me, that's fine. But at least for the process and for your own journey, just keep going. Like, honestly, that's the biggest advice I give to anyone who's just getting started. It will get easier. I promise you, it will get easier. I don't have to do nowhere near as much that I used to do just because of the groundwork that I've laid, for the foundation that I've set for myself and for others. So just have some patience, identify what's important first, which is sales and sales activities, not marketing, and connection, relationships. Focus there.
Yes, that's so important. That's so important. So how can they connect with you, Crystal?
If you would like to connect with me, the best way is going to probably be via my website. There's a pink button at the top. Well, it's pink for now. You might listen to this years from now, who knows? It's pink for now. It says book a call with me online. You can book a session with me there. You can also message me on Instagram. My team helps you manage that inbox. But regardless of where you find me, we'll make sure that you get a response. Even if it's just a question, feel free. My door is always open.
I'm going to leave the description below on this video so they'll be able to connect with you and hopefully tap into some of your good stuff.
Definitely.
Guys, I hope this session was useful to you, and if it was, please leave us a comment. Reach out to any one of us if you have questions, and we'll be happy to connect with you. Thanks everybody for joining us for this session, and hopefully you join us for the next one. Bye guys.